Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be going over my carbines and how I like to set them up. I'm going to be going over an AR and an AK, but I would like to say that if you live in the US, I don't recommend that you get an AK. The only reason that you should be running an AK is if that's what's logistically fit for you in your country. So if your local military and police uses AK, go ahead and go with that and you'll be fine. So I've got both examples here. I'm going to go over my AR first. What I'm running is a 10.5 PSA upper and an Anderson manufacturing lower. This is a registered SBR. What I'm running is the standard PSA rail that came with the pre-assembled upper that I got from them. I've got a Surefire War Comp to go with my Surefire muzzle accessories. I'm running a Surefire M300 flashlight with a PEC 15, both attached to a Surefire dual tape switch. And that's just secured in place using a couple of zip ties. Down from here, I like to use a Magpul vertical foregrip. I cut it down so that only the space available I need for my grip is there. Right here, of course, you gotta have your Lucky Charm on there. So I've got that. I'm running a Vortex offset scope mount and their Vortex Strike Eagle 1 through 8 scope. I prefer LPVOs over red dots for their versatility. I don't find that LPVOs slow me down as opposed to using red dots. So moving back here, what I'm running is a bootleg adjustable BCG. This helps me regulate my gas pressure and helps me get my rifle running right when I am running a suppressor on it. Moving back from there, I am running a Radian ambidextrous charging handle. As you can see, I have a little bit of high temp silicone gasket on the back here to cut down on any excess gas coming back in my face as I am running it suppressed. So with controls, I've got a Radian 45 degree safety selector. I'm running a Rise Armament 434 trigger. I really enjoy it. It's got a nice feel to it. It's very crisp. Very little reset and take up. Then over here, I am running a Magpul Bad Lever. I like these. They really help me with my mag changes. I don't have to go ahead and drop the bolt using my support hand. I can go ahead and use my firing hand. I'm also running a Magpul extended mag release right here. I was running a Strike Industries ambidextrous mag release at one point, but I think as you can see in one of my videos, I kept on accidentally hitting it, especially when I would go ahead and sling my rifle. It would get caught up on things and just dump a mag out when I didn't want to dump the mag out. Now I am running a Law Tactical folding stock. I originally got this to get me up to the overall length that I needed to run a vertical foregrip when this was registered as a pistol. Not registered, but was considered a pistol before I registered it as an SBR. And moving back to here, I'm running a Magpul SL stock. It's very comfortable for me. It's very solid. I like it a lot. I'm running the Magpul K2 grip. I have spare batteries down in the grip compartment here. I run a hair tie around it, not just for myself, but so that I can store my sling when I'm not actively using my sling. My sling point comes over here, goes around, and goes out to here. So I use the same sling on all my rifles. I have the same sling points, set up the same points on each of those rifles, and what I'm using is a Faro Concepts slingster. I really enjoy these slings. They're very smooth. They don't cut in anywhere. They're very soft where they need to be, and they feel really good. So I use the same one for all my rifles. I just switch them out as I need them. Inside here, my buffer spring is a Super 42 buffer spring. It's like a double braided spring that's very quiet. You don't hear the twang inside when you fire. There's none of that, you know, wobbliness to it. It's very solid, very quiet. Just very solid. And I believe that's it for my AR. And of course, you gotta have your Lucky Charms. Alright. So, as always, I think I mentioned it before, I recommend that you have 5 magazines. That means 1 in the gun, 3 on your chest, 1 on your belt line. So with each of these rifles, I have 5 reloads to fill all those positions. Alright, so next we'll be moving on to the AK. What I've got here is a Wasser 10. So I guess we'll start with the rail like I started on the other one. This is a RS Regulate. I think it's their full length rail. I don't think they make any that are longer than this. So what I've got on here, just like the other one, I like to run war comps. That way I can use my Surefire muzzle accessories. Back here I have a cheaper version basically of what my Surefire M300 is, and this is a Extreme Light ProTac series. They make a bunch of different ones with different options, different lumens and stuff like that. They're very solid flashlights. I recommend them almost over Surefire at this point because of their price point. So moving back from there, they come with their own tape switch. I have this one just velcroed in place on my Magpul dust cover, and then I have it zip tied down so that it doesn't go anywhere with the wire, and this works just fine for me. Moving back from there, I run Mi-Pro Light adjustable rear irons and Mi-Pro Light night sights in the front. So they're both night sights, they're both adjustable. If you do run to a Wasser that has slightly canted sights, having an adjustable rear sight is going to help you get it zeroed without having to jack your front sight way over one way or the other. So I had a very slight cant to mine, wasn't very noticeable. My bore is concentric, that's why I'm able to run suppressors and stuff with it. But before you do that, you want to get I can't remember what they call it, but it's basically a rod that's very straight, and you put it in the barrel and make sure that the barrel's concentric enough that you're not going to get a baffle strike inside of your suppressor using that barrel. Where was I at? Anyway, moving on. So what I like to run is a Krebs enhanced safety lever. It gives you a little shelf so that you don't have to completely break your grip in order to operate the safety up and down. This really helps with AK manipulations. It also gives you the option to lock your bolt to the rear, just in case you're out of range where you want to show clear or anything like that. You can lock your bolt to the rear. So moving on from there, I have an ALG AKT trigger. It's got a very nice audible reset. I really like it as opposed to just the standard AK triggers. Feels very nice, very crisp. Back from here, I have an RS Regulate. I think it's a middle lower rail. It's not completely offset to the front or completely offset to the back. Then on top of that is their Picatinny upper rail. That's full length. And inside of that, I have a couple Vortex sight rings with a Vortex Crossfire 1 through 4. It's not their most expensive sight, but from my experience it does work. The eye box is acceptable, and I really enjoy it. Helps me with target IG, just like the 1 through 8. It's better than having no power at all, especially when you're reaching out to distances, maybe out to 300 yards. And as the same with my other scope on my carbine, I like to write a little bit of dope on the scope itself, telling me my zero and telling me what it's zeroed with. Moving back from there, I have a Magpul. I believe it's their SL model. It's the very slim grip. I enjoy that. It's good size for my hands. Gives me positive control and a positive feel on it. It's got a nice little stippling on it. Feels great. Then I've got the Magpul triangle stock. I don't know exactly what they call it. It's Zukov or something like that. Inside of here, I have spare batteries for all my electronics on the gun as well. And then, of course, I've got my hair tie on there to stow my sling. And I've got my sling points set up at the same points as I did on my other carbine. So, after that, I believe that's all the accessories and different things that I have on my AK. I've got a Surefire Warden. This is a blast diffuser. This helps for if you're not, if you have a war comp or any of the other Surefire muzzle devices, it's going to cut down the concussion of people shooting next to you and not make them go deaf fucking instantly. So this really helps. Your neighbors will love you for that if you get that. If you're not shooting it with it, you must hate people around you. Now I've got a Surefire SOCOM Mini RC2 in 7.62. That way I can run it on my 30 caliber rifles as well as my 22 caliber rifles. So this will fit on my 308, my 7.62 by 3.9, as well as my 5.56. Alright, so just like the other one, I'll show you my range bag since I didn't show it in any of the other videos since it didn't quite fit. I keep my Surefire little heat bag on the outside here so I can kind of hot potato it off my gun, throw it in here, let it cool down without melting the rest of the bag. This is an old 511, I believe it's 36-inch double rifle case. It's worked well throughout the years. It's got a front pocket here where you can attach all sorts of stuff. Usually I just got targets behind here, whatever tools I might need for the day. I keep a couple chamber flags in there. The main compartment's pretty simple. It's just got some Velcro to tie in your guns. You can fit two pretty comfortably, and it works cool. So, I believe that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this one, please check out the next one where I'm going to be going over how I set up my shotgun. Thanks for watching.